So back in 2010, there was a small team at IDEO that was focused on redesigning a mobile experience for Elmo. And this was really early back in the day in iOS. The iPhone had just come out and there were really a lot of new novel experiences on the iPhone, but there wasn't really a great way to prototype or do an early sketch of what a concept might look like. So the team only had a couple of hours to prepare for a client meeting, and they had a new idea that morning that they really wanted to share. And so instead of going into the code and trying to prototype it and build it to production, they went to the printers, they took this image of an iPhone and they blew it up to human scale. They picked some music, they did a little choreography, and then they came up with this prototype.
Cue music. So this is possible dance moves for Monster Maker. So music starts, and I'm the player, so I come in and I touch the monster, and he gives me a special dance move. I go and touch again, and he does a different one. And I can go for as long as I want, and he has a few signature moves. And when I've had enough and I'm done dancing, I push the back button, and it pauses and the music stops. Monster Maker.
Cool.
That's all I can. That's all I can.
So one of my favorite things about this example was it required zero technical knowledge. It required just some innovation and a little bit of choreography and a little bit of silliness to lead into a pretty clear articulation of what the vision is. And this product shipped. It became Elmo Monster Moves. It was very successful. And this also became a great case study of what role-play-based prototyping can really look like. So fast forward around 13 years, our team at IDEO Play Lab was focused in on testing generative AI with Gen Z participants. We wanted to design these very specific experiences that would allow for our participants to be immersed in what this technology was capable of, as well as give us very nuanced feedback on how they saw this playing a role within their lives and how they might design it if they had the chance to, because that's what we were really focused on. How could we bring the Gen Z's voice into the design of the future of generative AI? And so with that, the initial hunch was to prototype it using GPT Prototyper. And we actually had it fully functioning, and we did a quick run through of what a user test would look like. And we saw that a lot of the technical aspects were becoming distractions within the conversations. We might have it where it's loading on a response for 30 seconds. We might have a response that's not really what we were trying to test. So we looked 13 years in the past to that prototype, that role-play based prototype that I mentioned earlier. And we took inspiration from that to change our concepts from a technical prototype to a role-play based prototype. And what this entailed was we already had our different sacrificial concepts that we wanted to test. And so we just converted these into scripts. And so we spent the afternoon as a team, we each took a different one, and we wrote out scripts with the AI character versus the human character and what that conversation might look like in different scenarios. So one of the examples we were looking at is what does it look like if AI showed up as an emotional support role? And so we had two different scripts. We had one that was the AI friend, which the language there was more casual, a little too intimate, and knew kind of more information about the participant, versus a script that was the AI therapist, which was much more professional, backed by stats, and was a little bit more distant in the language. And so with that, with the scripts, we were able to get into kind of the fine details of the wording. What is the tone of this AI? And that made it so we were hung up less on the technical side and how this would work, and it allowed us to get to those design decisions that we were really craving to have within the testing. So as we were building out these scripts, we actually had an opportunity to test it early with some folks at the IDEO D Camp. This is an annual summer event that we do where teens are able to come and join and learn about design within the IDEO studios. We took our scripts that we already had, we printed them out on sheets of paper, we had these worksheets that complemented them, and then we also brought in props like these futuristic glasses, and then we tested it out with folks. And it worked pretty great. The teens were able to go through, read the scripts, be a little bit in a silly state, but then really dive into the scripts. So these scripts even became this tangible asset that then some of the teams started marking up. They said, you know, I'll change this word, or I would change the concept this way. And they were using that script in order to remix these really complex experiences that we just wouldn't have been able to do if we would have gone with the technical experience. And now we're even taking those scripts and we're exploring a way to test them remotely using Figma prototypes. That research is currently ongoing, so we'll definitely share more of that in the future. But so with those two stories, you kind of start to see some of the benefits of role-play based prototyping versus going for more of a technical prototype. Role-play based prototyping really lets you and the team articulate early these different experience designs without getting into the nitty-gritty of the technical aspects. It's really great for focusing on the desirability part of the Venn diagram before entering the viability and the feasibility. It also helps you get feedback from users. If you use it in that research context, it's really great for getting users immersed in that experience, get those gut reactions as they're coming from an I perspective of this is how I would have reacted in this scenario. And then that's kind of the third benefit of this style of prototyping, is it allows for us to remix and change things at a human level. Even as kids, we know how to do imaginary play, and this kind of brings back that energy into the design process. Participants, team members, even clients are able to go into this imaginary circle together, and they're able to play through these scenarios, figure out, you know what, if I was really this character, I would have acted this way, or if this scenario played out this way, you know, these results might have been different. So those are really the three benefits of role-play-based prototyping. You're able to express yourself a lot quicker and without worrying about some of the technical hurdles. You're able to immerse yourself as well as other participants in the experience and really look at it from a first-person point of view. And then you're able to bring other folks in the design process, and other folks can play and remix together. And this third point is really important because it makes it so that it lowers the barrier of entry to engage within design. It adds this element of silliness, but also this human touch that makes it so anybody's able to come in and co-design. It's not just left to the designers that are able to manipulate things in Figma or make changes directly to a UI design. You can have it where anybody's really contributing to the design, and it really makes for this wonderful collaborative experience that's really grounded in this space of play. The 5 steps, if you want to try them out, is first choose a scenario to act out. This could be just a common user task, or it could be something more specific within the scenario that you're testing out. Just take a segment, play it out in your head, give a little preview, and then see what kind of experience that could look like. So second is, as you're playing through that story in your brain, consider what are the different characters that are showing up. Even as an example for a reusable cup system, think of some of the roles were like the barista and the customer, but you can also think about the different technologies that are in that. So even the point of sale system is one of the characters that you can have a person play out. Even the phone, the app, is a role that can be played. The third one is act out the scenario. Try something that we call a V-bird. It's a very bad run through. Just go ahead, brute force with your folks, try to improvise that experience, try that again, and then start recording what are the different beats of that scenario that are really juicy and parts that you want to test out with your users. And then 4, write down the script. Get started early, be sacrificial with it. Just get something on paper and really take inspiration from playwrights and from movie scripts. And those are really great inspiration points on figuring out how to write that dialogue. And the 5th one is play it out. Lean into the silliness. It's going to be a little embarrassing to start, but lean into that aspect and test it out with somebody who's now part of the design team. See how they play the role and then react, and then iterate on the design. And then as you do this, you can test with users, you can test with clients, you can start to expand who you're doing this kind of role play experience with, but hopefully it really leads to some rich, nuanced conversations. And the thing is, if you see things that don't work or even design changes that you want to explore further, you can just do what the campers did. Just take a pencil, scrape out some of the words, and then rewrite it directly there on the script. So in conclusion, role play prototyping is a really great tool to have in your tool chest to be able to bring out in those early stages of the design process when the experience is still forming. It really is like the sketching version of experience design. It's a way to express early. It's a way to create a very quick immersive experience so your participant can dive deeper and be able to look from that first perspective view, as well as immerse your team members and other folks and invite them to the table to be able to design together and build out the initial parts of the experience that will then be the foundation for your future user experience design. And if you're interested in learning more about that DCamp experience that we had, there is an article that you can read on Medium. Feel free to share that and give some applause to it as well. If you really enjoyed it, we would really appreciate that. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, check out that article if you wanted to see more, and we really appreciate if you shared this video and liked it if it was really helpful for you. So with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.